Welcome to Everything But the Kitchen Dink, the podcast where we discuss all things pickleball with your hosts, Rob and Andy.
Bienvenido, which means welcome back, everybody, to Everything But the Kitchen Dink. Bienvenido, everybody. I'm sat here live from Rota in Spain.
I think it's Rota.
Is it Rota or Rota?
Yeah, it's Rota.
We're in Rota. We've got a sherry in front of us, if you can see us on YouTube, and we are ready to rock and roll this podcast. Welcome back, everybody.
Welcome back. Episode 107.
You love saying that, don't you?
I do.
You love giving the episode number out.
It's a few weeks since I remembered what number it was, but I did my research this time.
We're sorry about the background noise. We're actually sat in our hotel in the bar area doing this podcast because we have so much to say and so much to tell you guys. First of all, I've got to start by saying I didn't realise that we were in the home of sherry.
Yeah.
Now, if you don't know me and Andy and you haven't been listening for long, we are we have a love for sherry.
We're shamed sherry drinkers.
We're shamed sherry drinkers in the UK because it's classed as not a very popular male drink.
Well, I also think that the reputation of sherry, like pickleball, is for old people.
Oh, God, that is so tasty.
But we love it.
We love it.
We don't feel the shame. We get a lot of shame. However, we didn't realise coming to this tournament, our first overseas tournament, which we'll get into.
We're in the home of sherry.
We're in the capital of world sherry.
It's where it's made, and we're going to go on a tour.
It's actually not here. It's half an hour away, but
yeah. But I mean, so we've got sherry here, and I've just got to say, cheers, Andy.
Cheers.
Because let me just gulp this down. Oh, it's magnificent. It's magnificent.
Amazing.
Anyway,
we've got so much to talk to. I'm buzzing. It's been one hell of an experience. We're going to get into it all.
Yeah.
We're going to start from the beginning, and
let's get going.
Yeah.
So, first of all, welcome back, everybody. This is our first international trip together.
Yes. I mean, your first trip was
Amsterdam. Yeah.
I mean, it's an hour. It's not really. I mean, it's not really. You were overnight, I guess, but
it's a couple of nights.
This is something completely different, something we've talked about for a long time. Part of our mission after it's safe to say that our previous 12 months have been difficult tournament-wise. We've been through the mill, we've struggled, we've folded, and our plan after the last disaster, which was probably the Nationals, where we missed out on points difference.
Yeah, one point difference. Yeah,
we decided that we would our goal for the foreseeable was to do as many tournaments as possible.
Yeah,
and that included overseas tournaments. And this tournament's been going. It's Reballution Rota. It's been going for
the Reballution Cup.
It's at Reballution. The Reballution Cup. It's been going for a few years. We've sort of ignored overseas.
Yeah, and also, I didn't know what to expect from hotels where we're staying. I was a bit nervous beforehand about,
I was nervous about,
and also what to bring, which we'll get into.
Yeah.
And anyway, let's get cracking because we started leaving.
Yeah, because Robert's getting.
I'm getting hungry
for his lunch,
for my
so we'll
smash burger
in the middle.
Yeah. We started. Well, let's start at the beginning.
I mean, the last episode, we mentioned some of our preparation. We'd had that coaching session, which, really sort of...
Yeah.
Which we'll get into more because we've learned so much more since then as well.
Yeah.
And that was really the sort of finishing touches of our preparation.
Yeah. So we left the house early, didn't we? Because...
But even before that,
before leaving the house?
The final preparations were the packing. Now...
Well, yeah, I mean... We had a 20-kilo case allowance. So
most people have travelled here for 5 days a week with a small pull-along bag.
Yeah,
but we've travelled with a 20-kilo case.
Before I forget, I just must mention we met a lovely couple. It reminds me of this because we met a lovely couple called Dave and Louise, and basically I admire what they've done. They've basically sold up their lives.
Yes.
And they travel around the world playing pickleball with a pull-on. Now...
A pull-on?
A pull-on, luggage.
Pull along.
A pull along.
Yeah.
Pull on.
Sorry.
It's the sherry.
Pull on, pull off.
And I just we went out for dinner with them, and it's just an amazing story how they've just basically given up everything and they're just traveling around the world playing pickleball. And the places that they've been are incredible. You know, Macau,
telling us
Vietnam.
about these pickleball courts everywhere.
There's pickleball courts all over
showing
the
us
world.
pictures, and some of them are amazing in China.
Just fantastic.
Malaysia.
So, kudos to them for just saying, look, this is what we're going to do now, and to sell up and do that is just unbelievable.
I'm going to do that.
I just like
my wife doesn't know the house is on the market.
So just a little,
but yeah,
it just reminded me when you were talking about the case and what we put in it.
They're traveling around in a tiny case. 20 kilo.
We're here for 5 days.
I'm so embarrassed with what I packed. So many t-shirts and trousers,
jeans.
And shorts.
I've not worn anything.
5 pairs of swim shorts. I've not even been near the pool.
Me too.
And I agonised.
I know.
Over what to pack. And I took stuff out and I put stuff in. And
you know what? It's a learning experience because next time
for packing.
Packing coach. Next time we'll know though. It'll be a lot easier.
I'm bringing 2 suitcases next time.
It was.
But so that was the packing.
Also, like paddles as well. How many paddles are you going to bring?
Yeah.
All your knee supports,
I decided.
your braces.
I think we both decided. I think we're over the days now of travelling with 7 or 8 paddles.
Well, I don't think I've ever travelled with 7 or 8 paddles.
Well, we do in the UK.
In the UK, it might take 4.
We used to fill our bags with paddles.
Yeah. We brought 2 each, didn't we, this time?
Yeah, so we brought 2 each. And I think we're both pretty settled on the 2 paddles.
Yeah.
But we found a new paddle, so that's going to throw...
Yeah, which we'll talk about a bit later on.
So then it was the Friday. We get picked up at 5:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
We're very inexperienced, and we realise now we got the flights wrong.
Yeah.
But it was an early start. I think one thing that we would definitely do next time is we wouldn't fly the day before the tournament.
No, I'd come for a longer period of time next time, so we have a few days before, because we didn't arrive till
we got here lunchtime. But that means.
But then we had an hour and a half drive.
Yeah.
We got here about 3 o'clock, and then by the time the next day comes and you're starting at 8 o'clock in the morning, you lose an hour as well with the time difference. So it's very tiring. We're just going back before that to the airport and coming out, and our little fast track.
Oh yeah, we're so inexperienced. We're so used to traveling with our wives.
Who tell us where to be.
Yeah, what to do, and we've got a plan. Particularly your wife, who
she's very organised. Yeah.
We get to the security at Manchester Airport.
Yeah, and I just left inside.
Isn't this fast track? Anyway, it was Friday morning. You can imagine. It was heaving the airport.
Yeah, the queues were crazy.
Security, I think it probably would have been an hour. We ended up walking in the fast track lane without realising, and once we realised,
we just carried on. And no one said a word.
No one said a word.
We scanned our boarding card. We went through. We were in the fast track security queue. It was great. And
so, if you just a little travel tip there. We're not going to do a travel podcast, but just a little travel tip. If we get to the airport and there's no one standing in the fast track lane, any staff member,
just go.
They don't check you when you scan your boarding pass.
Yeah.
So do that. That's what we did. It probably saved us an hour.
We're probably going to get people arrested now.
Well, we were a bit nervous because when there's a staff member at the entrance where you scan your boarding pass, but by that point they just assume that you've shown your fast track. So do that. It's a good one, and don't blame us.
No, and it was fine. The flight was great, and we landed, and we hired a car as well. So
it was all straightforward.
It was all
airline. It was all on time.
But I don't know if you've ever hired a car abroad, but it's the first time I've really been at the desk.
Yeah. You weren't nervous?
I wasn't. No, not about the driving.
But there were real sharks at the desk.
Yeah, they're like, do you want to add on vandalism cover for €180? And I'm like, well, the car's cost me €180, so you want me to double the price at the risk that someone might vandalise the car? So I'll say, nah, that's fine. Okay, then, well, would you like a second driver? That's another €60. So, no, we're all right, I'll drive. Would you like this? Would you like that? Anyway, we said no to everything.
Trying to scare you.
Yeah, literally trying to scare you.
Yeah.
Then they said, we're taking a £1,200 deposit on your card, just in case. At this point, you're like, yeah, okay, whatever, just do what you got to do.
Yeah, so they took £1,200 off your credit card.
Well, it's a holding deposit.
Have you checked?
No, but hopefully I'll get it back. Anyway, so we set off in the car, and Actually, driving over here is a breeze
there
for
was
me.
no traffic. It was
There's no traffic. It was really nice, easy to drive.
apart from when you nearly rear-ended at the driver in front.
Yeah, and drove on the other side of the road a couple of times. Apart from that, it was okay.
But there's not many cars where, you know, we're travelling completely in the opposite direction of, well, Seville is the major city, and an hour and a half away, you can imagine it's just pretty deserted, and it's great. It's nice and quiet.
Yes. So yeah, we arrived at the hotel about 3 in the afternoon, and again, didn't know what to expect from the hotel. You know, looked at it online, seen the reviews. It looks really nice.
Yeah.
Got to tell you, very impressed with this hotel. The rooms are very basic.
But there are like 7 different levels of rooms that we didn't
What's
know.
it called, this hotel? Just so people. Hotel de la Luz.
Yeah, Playa de la Luz.
Playa de la Luz.
In Rota.
Great pool area. Right on the beach, if you like the beach.
Which we don't.
Yeah, but it's a great location for the actual event as well.
You can walk. It's a 14-minute walk for me, probably 10 minutes for everyone else, but it literally is round the corner.
Yeah. The only gripe I really had was the rooms that we had were quite noisy because they're right near the pool area. So at night you got people walking past all night. So it is a bit noisy.
Well, it's next to the bar area as well, and we don't sleep great, but it was fine. It was fine because
it was fine.
The second night was quiet and I didn't sleep, and the first night was noisy and I did. So.
And the other great thing about the hotel is it has pickleball courts in the hotel.
Yes.
So when we got here on the Friday, we decided to go and have a little knock-up.
Well, we debated actually going straight to
the place,
to the tournament venue.
Yeah.
Which we didn't because it's so close. So we came back here, went to the tournament venue first, and there was no chance of any practice. Which was
it was singles, wasn't it?
It seems to be the pattern at any tournament we go to.
All the courts are being used, aren't they, for games? So you couldn't get on to have a knock around. So we thought we'll come back to the hotel and go on the courts and have a little play there. So we did, but it was very hot
and they're proper pickleball courts here.
They are.
So it was really good practice, but yeah, it was very hot.
And it was quite windy as well, so yeah. So we didn't stay long for that.
Yeah.
So let's get into the tournament because.
So how did you sleep the night before?
Well,
I mean, I did expect to get a text in the morning saying I can't play.
Yeah, and I was fine. I did okay. Slept all right, and got up. We had a quick breakfast because we had to. It was an 8 o'clock start, wasn't it? So we literally...
Yeah, but it was very good at the hotel because breakfast doesn't start till 8 o'clock, but because of the pickleball tournament, they open breakfast at 7 for everybody. And most of the people staying here were pickleballers.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we got over there. There was
I actually took 2 croissants with me.
Oh, you did? That's right.
Because I didn't know what the food situation was going to be at the event and what they were going to have.
Yeah.
I'll talk about that in a minute, but... yeah, we got there. What time did we get there?
Before we get on to that,
I
just want to get I want to get the negatives out of the way first, and there are not many, believe me.
Okay.
But the toaster at breakfast.
Yeah.
4 times I had to put my toast through.
4 times?
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about turning it up a bit?
No, I can't touch that because you turn it and then it's burnt to a crisp. You know that.
You're lucky you had the time to do it 4 times.
A millionth of a degree. And you're burning it to a crisp for everybody else. So it was just, it set me off on a negative footing for the morning. And but you know what? That is actually the only negative thing.
Yeah, the breakfast was really good, to be honest. So we arrived there. Did we get there about what time did we get? 7:45? Half 7?
It might have been 7:30, and still I don't think we got any practice.
We didn't get any practice. We literally got on court, had a warm up, and then we were into our first match.
I mean, I was excited. I mean, I don't know if you can recall. It seems like such a long time ago.
You have this tingling thing,
yeah,
where your whole body starts to tingle when you get on court.
I don't know what it is. I mean, it was, originally we both suffered from tournament.
Yeah, we did. I'm now amazingly completely over it.
But I don't know what it is. I have no control over it.
No,
it doesn't.
I think it could be adrenaline,
It doesn't affect my play.
It
didn't affect my play. So I get on there and immediately I feel like the colour withdraw from me and my whole body starts tingling, particularly my fingers. And
do you feel it
it's
in
almost
your
like
toes?
the sherry's getting to you.
Yeah, it is lovely.
It's almost like an out-of-body experience. Like I feel a bit weak, tingly. Anyway, so we get on there, and I'm used to it now, but it didn't affect my game. We started, I can't exactly remember the scores. The first game.
Just before you get onto that, I just talking about the tingling and the anxiety of getting on court. Because I used to suffer with it really badly, and the nerves and shaking and stuff. I don't feel any nerves now when I get on court. I don't know why I suddenly feel, maybe it's more tournaments and more experience, but I am absolutely completely relaxed now when I'm on court, which is an amazing feeling to have.
Yeah.
So for people that do suffer with nerves when they get on and it's the first game and whatever, I just think there's hope, because I know a lot of people do suffer with their nerves, but I for one now I'm very relaxed when I get on court, so you can overcome that.
I don't know if I wasn't relaxed. I mean, yes, I was a bit nervous beforehand, and when I got on court, and I think that's normal.
Yeah.
I just felt that as the games went on, that the feelings didn't go, and it wasn't affecting my play. And maybe I've realised now that maybe it's not anxiety, maybe it's adrenaline.
Could be.
And I started to think that, maybe I wanted to feel that way. Maybe it was making me feel better. Maybe I was using that. And so it wasn't a bad thing ultimately.
No.
It's difficult to explain.
Yeah.
But
And maybe the more tournaments you do, the easier it might
that
get.
was also one of the reasons why we decided we wanted to dedicate ourselves to more tournaments.
Yeah.
So maybe the tingling was there, and maybe it used to affect me negatively, and now I'm using it to my advantage. Maybe it's never going to go at this point.
Maybe, but we'll see. Just before we get into the games, I just want to talk a bit about the actual place and the event, because I didn't know what to expect for this event, but it was an amazing event. They had, how many courts do you reckon they had?
We think there was 18 courts in total.
There's probably about 18
but that
courts,
doesn't include the inside. They had an inside section as well,
which had another 8 courts, or maybe more.
I think it did. Yes, yeah.
So they had a lot of courts. They had 4 courts which were proper pickleball courts, properly marked,
Yeah, 4 proper with no
courts.
other lines on.
Yeah, and then they had the tennis courts converted. They had stalls there with people selling paddles, trainers, jewelry stores, which we'll talk about. Who else was there? What else did they have there?
Well, they had a few paddle companies.
Yeah.
Only one of which we'd heard of before.
Yeah. And also, most importantly, they had a bar.
But they only had one food station.
They had one food station. But to be fair, they were very quick and very organised, and the food was pretty good. It was burgers, hot dogs, salads, donuts, chocolate, beers, water.
They didn't cater for vegans, but
No, they didn't care
but
about
they
vegans.
tend not to on the continent.
So the facility was really good, and I've not far from the hotel, as we said, so that was really good. We started our first game, and
it's a bit of a blur now, isn't it?
well, it was hot. I remember.
Yeah, you walk on court, and it was
I'm getting hot now thinking about it. Taking my jacket off.
I haven't got the scores to hand, but I remember bits, and I think we started well. I think we won the first game 11-7. It was a bit maybe disjointed. I never felt that we were going to lose it.
No,
we just couldn't get away, and then we got away and
we won it. Yeah, and it's always nice to get a win on your first game, because we normally start badly.
Yeah,
don't
we do.
And we normally lose our first game.
We sort of joke that it's our thing is to be 6-0 down.
Correct, but we went in and we won, and we won quite comfortably, and it was a good feeling just to come off and have that win under your belt. So that was a good start.
And then the second game
was the 4 round robin game.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the second game we won 11-1.
Yeah.
Now the ones we won, the ones we beat, actually went on and beat other teams. I think sometimes you just get that.
Yeah. Sometimes people start slow and get better as it goes on.
It's not a reflection on our opponents, because they went and
they beat other teams. Yeah.
So that was good. At that point,
but to be fair to us, we played really well.
Yeah, we did.
We
did. I think going in there knowing that we put the graft in, we've put the hard work in, especially in the last month. where we've really worked on strategy and placement. You know, I think that gave us a confidence, didn't it?
Yeah.
We had a habit of going in and losing silly games, silly points.
Yeah.
And I think there were still moments that, you know, we played stupid shots. It happens. You're never going to get rid of that.
No.
You just got to keep it to a minimum. And then it's a case of, you know, we then had our last two matches. I think at that point, you need to win one more to get through.
Yeah. Was it top two from each group
Yeah.
got through, wasn't it?
But we were playing pairings that we knew from back home.
Only one.
1.5.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
you're right, yeah.
So one of them was playing with a new partner who was Spanish, and then there was a couple from home who knew
Who we
us.
knew, yeah.
And you know, I don't know whether sometimes when you're playing, say, Spanish opponents, and you've no idea what you're coming up
Sometimes
against.
it's easier to play people you don't know sometimes.
It's easier, but then if you know the people, then maybe you can have a bit more strategy. You know their strengths and the weaknesses, and
Yeah,
you know, but then they also know ours.
correct.
So it's, I don't know, it is what it is. And we went in and we didn't struggle, but it was a close game. We played Dave and Dave. I felt like because they knew us, they knew you were the stronger player, so they played it more to me initially.
Yeah, they did.
And then they realised I'm the stronger player, and then they changed it up a bit. But I think you know, I mean, we haven't actually discussed our match with them. They played really well, and they said that was the best they played.
Yeah, they did.
But I just think at that point it was just starting to click for us as
Yeah,
well.
yeah. And we won all our round robin games, didn't we?
Yeah,
we won every game.
Yeah, and then the next one we won. I can't remember the score, and then we were through to the
semis.
Yeah, it was straight to the semis.
Yeah, and that was a grind. I mean, that was up to 15.
Yeah. We've had it before in the English Open, where you've had a semi-final, and it's so tough, and sometimes you think, I think
the semi can be harder than the final sometimes, because you're both really fighting to get into that final.
Yeah.
And
we were playing two
Spanish guys.
They were really good.
They were, and I can't remember what the score.
I think
we were down a lot.
I think we were up at the turn, but it was very close.
Yeah, and then we were down 11.
Actually, you know what? I think we got off to a roaring start, and we might have been 6-1 up or something.
I think
like
we did,
that.
yeah.
And then slowly but surely it became 6-4, then it was 7-4, and then it was up to 15, but win by 2.
We were 11-10 down.
We found ourselves 11-10 down after the switch, and it was, you know, there were times where it was mentally tough.
This is where it becomes a mental game.
We're in our fifth game at this point, and you're probably looking at, you know, after 11 in the morning, the sun's coming up.
It's 25 to 30 degrees.
Yeah, and it gets to become very energy sapping.
Yeah.
You're constantly drinking water. I think I drank so much water throughout the day. And I don't want to talk about toilet habits, but I wish it was.
Well, I'm going to talk about toilet habits in a minute.
But just to give you an indication of how hot it is, I never did a wee.
Because your body was like sweating
and I
out.
drank so much.
Yeah.
That's how hot it was. I mean, I think the official temperature was 29 degrees.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
And, you know, I'm proud of us because we've struggled mentally. And there was times
now mentally tough.
Yeah, there was times in that semi-final where we were struggling.
Yeah, we never gave up.
You know, sometimes you're playing and you know, the game is generally in patches, and you can have a good patch, then you can have a bad patch, and when that bad patch comes, it's like all of a sudden what you were doing isn't working.
Also, you know, when your partner's having a bad few shots, and it's about helping your partner get through those moments. Yeah. And I thought we did that brilliantly, because we both had times where we went through a rough patch, and we literally helped each other through it.
It's about stepping up when your partner's struggling.
Yeah,
and getting through until, you know, you're back on a level key.
Yeah,
and it was great, you know, pushing ourselves on. But I was really proud the fact that, especially in that heat, because it's very easy to just give up in that.
Yeah, it really is.
And we were 11-10 down, and we won it 15-12, and that was probably one of the toughest matches we've ever played, and on so many levels it was really good. And I didn't want to say at the time, but I felt like the final, I just felt we were going to win it after that.
Right.
The
Okay.
fact that also,
Well, we ended up playing the guys that we'd already
yeah,
beaten
that we
once.
beaten at 11-6 or 11-7 in our first group match.
Yeah.
And that can throw in a few mental, doubts as well, because we've also been in the situation where we've beaten someone in the group and then lost to them or struggled against them in
Yeah.
a later round. And, so I was a bit apprehensive about that.
But we played brilliantly in the final.
We did,
and we breezed through
yeah,
it.
we
I think
walked
it was
it
like
15-6 or
15-6, was
something.
it? Yeah.
And it was great.
And then you grabbed me and you wouldn't let go.
Yeah, I just wanted to seize that moment, and it was great.
And to win the gold was just, on our first
Yeah.
tour
Yeah.
away from home was
And
just a fantastic
I
achievement.
felt like the last maybe 6 to 9 months have been sort of us resetting as a partnership.
Yeah.
And this was sort of the culmination that will be the springboard to push us on.
Yeah, it's been a long, hard road, hasn't it,
Yeah.
for us?
I mean, this level was classed as a 3.5 to 4.5. So anybody within that range
can play in
was
that
eligible
level.
to play. We want to compete at the 4.5 plus.
Yes. But we've got a bit more work to do.
But now we have to do the work. The shame is that they don't have a 4.0.
No, it's
entry
4.5
here. So it's
plus.
3.5 to 4.5, and then anybody above 4.5.
Unless they change it next year, if it gets bigger and bigger.
Well, it's growing, so who knows?
But anyway, I mean, it was a great achievement. I'm so happy to win gold. And just a little thing on the toilets, because I did need the toilet at one point. Their toilet paper is the worst toilet
was
paper.
it like motorway services?
It's like that paper that just dissolves,
like thin, like tracing paper.
No, it wasn't that thin tracing paper. It was like too soft. Like it was just, you had to use a whole roll. God, you've down that sherry, haven't you? Anyway, it is what it is. They only had one male toilets as well. So when I got to the toilet, it was in a shambles. I mean, I've never seen a state like it. But when you've got to go, you've got to go. So, whatever. But
Small negatives.
small negative.
Yeah.
We won gold. We were absolutely buzzing.
Yeah.
The only thing was,
really
the medal ceremony was.
It was a bit of a shambles.
It was a bit of a shambles. We had to wait
almost
3 hours.
The way the layout of the tournament is you've got sort of, it's a bit of an L shape.
Yeah.
So if you're watching people on other courts and you're at the other end of the L, then the podium is also in the corner of one of the courts. So obviously there's games going on till probably around 3-4 o'clock from the morning.
Yeah.
Then they have an evening session. So you have to wait for a break, but there's no announcements for the medal ceremony.
No, there's
So
there's
you
nothing.
either have to hang around where the podium is for a good few hours.
Yeah.
But you want to watch your friends and you want to watch, you want to support them.
And why are you mentioning friends? Can I just say that obviously there's quite a few Brits here.
Well represented.
Well represented, coming to play, and a lot staying in our hotel as well. And I just want to say the camaraderie and the social aspect of pickleball is by far the best I have ever known in any sport.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody is supportive of everybody else. They come and watch your games. We watch people's games. We're cheering them on. Went out for dinner with people. It's just such a lovely experience.
About not even just pickleball, people's lives, and we've seen people on the circuit in England, and we've seen them, and we might say hello. We didn't know them, and then you come to this environment and you get to know people, and it's just, you don't realise. I mean, some of the prejudgments, and we're good people watchers. We judge everybody without knowing them, and and it's just, there's not a bad bone.
I might take this opportunity to actually shout out a few people. So first of all, I want to shout out my mixed partner, who I'll talk about in a minute. But Jazz, you were fantastic and very supportive, great to play with. And it was our first time playing together, and we had a great experience. And I'll talk about that in a minute, but I just wanted to give her a shout out because she's a great player, and I expect to see her in the FPL and many other things very soon, because she's really taken to the sport. She's an ex-pro hockey player, and absolutely, really, when she takes on a sport, she takes on a
dedicated,
sport.
And that's what I'm finding, that there are people who, if you want to get good at this sport, you can dedicate to get. That's the beauty of it. You can't just take up tennis now and become dedicated and become good at it. You can do it pickleball, and that's not a slight on pickleball. That's an advantage of
Yeah,
pickleball.
yeah,
If you listen, well, if you didn't listen to last week's episode, the interview with Olympian Gail Ems, she was here this weekend,
yeah,
and you know, she has that dedication. She will be one of the best in the country soon, and that's the beauty of it.
yeah.
And
She'll dedicate herself to it, and she'll drill, and she'll get much, much better.
yeah,
And
because I think coming to a place like this it lets you know where you need to be.
yeah, absolutely.
Um,
So I just wanted to give her a shout out, and let's just talk about the mix because
yeah,
that was the next day, wasn't
yeah,
it?
yeah.
So again, you're exhausted from the day.
And the times were always changing as well, because our match
Yes. Do
started
you
at
know what?
7:20, but then by the day before it had changed to 9 o'clock,
No
then it
one,
changed to
yeah, no
8:30.
one told us to check the app because the times might change, and we didn't know that. I got a message. Luckily, someone messaged me and said, your games have changed from 9 to 10
Yeah,
in the morning. So I had a bit of a later start, but you had still an early
I
start,
had
didn't
an
you?
8:30 start, which
So,
is good because you want to be away from the sun, really.
so tell us about your mixed experience
Okay, so
first.
what they did was, I mean, obviously
You were indoors,
the
weren't you?
squeezed on court, so we were in the indoor section, which everybody was saying was like an oven,
Yeah.
just incubating heat. But it is what it is, and to be honest, I'm more used to that, because sometimes when it's hot in Manchester, very rarely, and we play indoors,
Yeah, it's not.
um,
It's a different
it
heat
can be
than the sun,
it
isn't it?
can be so hot when we play
Yeah.
at home and you're indoors. However, you've not got the sun beating down on you, and that's the difference.
Yeah.
Now, the other difference was it was the portable pickleball nets.
Ah,
Now, outdoor, they had they might have been portable, but they were proper professional
yeah,
ones, and these were more like the ones that we would have on a club night.
yeah.
Which is fine. It's the
Well,
same
you'd be
for
used to
everyone.
that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, and they're a bit lower,
Yeah,
which
which always helps.
obviously helps. Every little helps. So we're in there. The one thing I noticed about playing inside is there were so many flies and little
Oh,
like
really?
gnats, and just bothering you. So not while you're playing, but so we got started there, and again it was, my partner Lindsay. She's been my partner for the last few tournaments. We're going to try something different for the Open, which is fine. We have a good relationship on court. It's great actually, because we are totally contrasting styles of play. Especially now, I'm trying to study my game more. She's more of the power player than I am, and at one point in one of the matches, we just and this is interesting, because if you're looking for, never rule out a partner. If you're looking for a mixed partner or any partner, never rule out somebody because of their style, because contrasting styles can sometimes be a great advantage as well. And at one point, we're trying to discuss tactics, when it wasn't going our way, and I hit a shot and I go back to my basics, and I do well, and then we can't decide whether to drive or not. Sometimes, what it's like, sometimes you drive too much and they just get put away, and then you're not sure what to do, and then she'll drive one and it was great, and we then realized, you do you, I'll do me, and sometimes it just works. So don't rule any partner out because of style. Play together first and see how it works. So again, we had a quick start. I think, to be honest, when you're playing in the 3-5 to 4-5, it's quite a range. So you can get some near the 3-5 and some near the 4-5. So it can be quite a mix of quality. So we breezed through the group stages, and then but then it was quarterfinals. And again, we played one of the players who we beat in the men's final. And again, you look at it, it's so, we'll get onto this as well when we talk about you, but what I love about pickleball is you build up a perception of somebody and you think, I've got this. You look at the person, you think, I've got this, and they just get everything back. And it can be really tough. And the quarterfinal, it was up to 15, and we got there in the end. We always felt we were going to get there, but it was just a case of, players just hang on. They just hang in there and they just get the ball back. And so we got to the semi-final. We, I don't know if it got in my head a bit, but we knew we were playing a guy that had played in the 4.5 plus the day before. And I'm not bothered. You know, I've mentioned sandbagging in the past. I'm not bothered. It didn't matter to me. In fact, I wanted to prove myself. I don't know if that got in my head, but we were well down. We were 5-1 down. We got to the turn. I think we were 8-3 down. Swap at 8. We slowly but surely started pulling it back. We called it. We were 10-5 down. It's up to 15. We called a timeout. This was one good thing. They allowed one timeout per team in any match you played.
Yeah,
I know in England it's only when you get to the knockout
it was
stages.
good at the time out, and people did use them as well, didn't they?
So we used it at 5-10 down, and before we knew it, we pulled it back, and we got to 12 all, and they called a timeout. It was 12-12-2. It was our serve.
Right.
They called a timeout. The next point, I don't know if it got to me or it just happened, and we just didn't win that point. But it was such a long rally, and we lost it.
So you went out in the...
Well, we lost the serve. It went back to them. They got 2 quick points. One of the points, this is an interesting thing.
Oh, yeah, you told me about this.
So they had the serve back, and then I body bagged the guy. I hit him in the chest, stomach, I'm not sure what it was. It definitely didn't hit his paddle, and then it bounced. I mean, I guess you need an element of luck in these close games, and we didn't get it. I hit him in the stomach. It bounced back over the net onto our side, and we lost the point. Now, I turned to Lindsay and I said, I think that's illegal.
Which is, if it hits chest.
Which it is, and I had a feeling it was, because, and you know, we've discussed it before, that it can hit your wrist and down, but you know, there wasn't anybody we played who was Spanish didn't speak English. So
you just let it go.
I thought to myself, what am I going to do? I'm not going to create a scene. Lindsay didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do. We carried on. We lost the match. We got the serve back at 14-12. We didn't take advantage. You know, I'm not blaming, you know, this freak thing that happened. If it was in England, maybe I would have said something. But we lost 15-12. We ended up winning the bronze match fairly easily. We won a bronze. It was great. People were congratulating me on your bronze, and I don't want to be that person that is disappointed for a bronze, but maybe, you know, I'm competitive, and I wanted to beat this person, this couple. I don't know, am I wrong for being disappointed? I'm happy.
No, I think that's a good thing that you're competitive and you're ambitious and you want to win gold. But you won a medal, which is great. Not everybody does, so be happy with the medal that you've won. And move on to the next one and just think, right, okay, now I'm gonna want to win silver. I want to win gold. I want to move on from that. So, you know, winning a medal is no easy thing anymore. You know, the competition is tough out there. You know, a lot more people have come into the sport, and you're in a foreign country playing against very, very good. Let me just say, the standard in Spain is one of the best standards I've seen.
I think it's gone up,
especially in the youngsters. The youngsters here are absolutely, which actually shows, because there weren't many from the UK in the younger categories that got medals. So the youngsters here are absolutely incredible. They're ones to watch, Spain, for the Euros as well.
The European Championships is coming up. Put your money on Spain.
So you did well. You did well.
Well, I also want to, just to finish off about my day. I found, you know, it made me want to, you know, when I come back here next year, I want to go in the 4-5, because I found that the 4-5, it's, yes, obviously you've got some very, very good players, but you're starting at a higher point. Whereas in the 3-5 to 4-5, you're getting 3-5s and you're getting up to 4-5, and it does fulfill that.
The only issue is it's not just about you. You have to have a lady that is at that level, because if you don't at that level, you will get punished.
Yes, but I also found it difficult playing because the style
is different.
The style is completely different, so it's
It's
very
more of
it's a very
not a pickleball game.
It's very
a bangy
unpredictable.
game. You don't know what you're going to get.
So I felt that it would help my game better. To play, even if I didn't medal. I think as a long-term project, it would help my game. But yeah.
Yes. So then moving on to my day. So I played at the 4-5 plus, as I said earlier, with Jazz, who we've never played together before. So it was quite brave to enter a tournament at that level with someone you haven't played with before, because a lot of these partnerships that do play at that level have been established partnerships. They know each other, they know how they move, they've got tactics. We went in, we didn't have anything.
Yeah.
We weren't going to stack, we weren't going to do, nothing exciting. So we played our first game, and
Well, it was running late, wasn't it?
yeah, so first of all, we were started at 10 and we didn't start till about 11:15. So already it was really hot. We played our first game and we breezed through 11-1. It was like, I thought, whoa, this is okay. Got really excited. It was great. We were absolutely buzzing. We played our second game, and again, we were 9-8 up, and we should have won, and we lost 11-9.
So what changed? Is it just when it's a close game? It's just
It was just
fine
it was
margins,
fine
you need a bit
margins.
of luck,
Yeah, it was just
things go your way.
we could have won that game, and the game after exactly was 11-9 as well.
Oh,
So there's two games there that were just so close, and by this point, it had got really hot outside
yeah,
as
you were
well.
telling me like you were going to die.
Like I was saying, I'm going to die. I'm drinking water. I'm running. Jazz is going, you can't go. We've got to play in a minute. I said, I'm going to get water, Jazz. I need water. It was absolutely roasting. And then we played our last game and we won that. And, it was amazing. Like
Yeah.
we played really well. If we had time together and we were established partnership, I mean, we went for some shots together where we both, when you clash paddles
That's the hardest thing
Yeah,
when you're
and-
playing.
and
It's about, we know, I mean, we still have paddle
yeah,
clashes
but
in
we
the middle,
know
but
where
we
each
know-
other.
I know to leave
Correct.
certain stuff for you.
Yeah.
And that's the difficulty down the middle, which everybody says put it down the middle, but it's not just down the middle. It's various things where you haven't got that experience together.
Exactly. And I think, with the experience, we probably would have done a lot better. But we got through to the quarterfinals and I was buzzing and it was amazing. But at this point, it was 2:00 in the afternoon and it was the hottest time of the day. We started the quarterfinals and we were 9-3 up. It was up to 15.
Yes.
We were 9-3 up.
And this is one of those instances where I think they were playing as a completely alien partnership.
Yeah.
It was an English lady who I'd never met before.
Yeah, and a Spanish guy.
Who, I mean, they couldn't even speak to each other.
No, but they were great. They got everything back. And at the turn, literally, and I think thinking about it, we had a crowd watching us. There was quite a big crowd, and when I was on the other side of the court, it was quite far away from the crowd, so I didn't feel any pressure. But when I came to the other side of the court, I basically started hearing things like "unlucky Rob," "good shot Rob."
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because I was watching you, but I wasn't right behind, and then you won't have realised this, but I never said a word to you.
No,
I never shouted.
No,
out.
and when you hit a shot and a bad shot, and someone then says "unlucky Rob," that sort of and Jazz was talking to me about this afterward. It sort of reinforces that bad error, which makes another bad
But
error.
It wasn't always a bad error.
It wasn't, but it does get in your head a bit, and I've got to be able to deal with that a bit better. And then they got it back to like 9-9, and we ended up losing 15-10. And I think about 10-10, I was absolute. Jazz was really, really done in. I was really done in from the heat, and it was just.
But you look at it now as a bad defeat. But what you don't realise is that
I don't think
I've been saying to you this heat is amazing for fitness. If you don't die, it's amazing for fitness.
But going back to coming earlier next time, we weren't acclimatized to the weather.
Yeah.
We threw ourselves straight in. It was very, very hot.
You have to come 6 months before to acclimatise.
No, but if a lot of the Spanish people, they're used to this heat. They didn't even break a sweat, where all the Brits were like dying. So for us, the weather is a big factor. So, but next time I'm going to come earlier, so I'll be more.
But I think it does help fitness. It does help with mental fitness playing in that heat, because you've just got to dig in and find something.
It does.
Somewhere.
It does.
And it's unfortunately that pickleball. We've seen so many games where you can be so far ahead or so far behind, and you just never give up.
No, exactly.
But it's a classic case of you look at this couple, and I don't know if you did at the time, but I did when you walked on court, and I saw the chemistry between the couple, and
you thought it was going to be easy.
Yeah, you're going to walk.
Yeah, and it just shows you can't judge anyone.
To myself, Has this couple won the other group?
They ended up going on. They won the group and they won gold. They
Yeah.
actually won. So
And we watched one of the other quarterfinals,
Yeah.
and it was such a high standard.
very high standard. So I was happier that the ones that beat us actually won gold. And I was happy that we got to the quarterfinals, having not played together before. So it was really good. I'm really positive about everything in pickleball right now. I'm very happy. So
Yeah.
better things to come.
Yeah. So then we go on to, we basically the tournament ended Sunday. We are here till Wednesday night. It's
Yes.
currently Tuesday, and I think we were both a bit apprehensive before we flew.
Yeah.
About what the hell are we going to do for 2 days? We
Yeah.
know there's pickleball there, but are we really going to want to play pickleball after the event?
Yeah.
We didn't know. I was concerned that if it all went pear-shaped with us, and we're going to be on holiday for another 3 days together, how's that going to be? And I was concerned about that, although not really.
We found Sherry, so that makes
We found Sherry, that helped, and obviously we've had a couple of nights out with other pickleballers, and it was just phenomenal to learn about everybody. And the day after, all age groups of the Brits were around the pool, and we were talking to people we'd never spoken to before.
Yeah.
And it was just so great, sort of debriefing with everybody, and it was really interesting to see how some of the top UK players basically went out in the quarterfinals. I think very few medals were won, and I always push England as the second biggest market, but I think the whole of Europe's closing in together.
Yeah, it really is. It really is.
The Spanish standard, and we could see that they have this where the tournament took place. Is open to the public. It's not even a facility where you have to go and pay.
And that's what we've been doing.
And we're saying throughout the tournament, these players can go. I mean, I'm sure they're not all local to.
The thing is, it's back to weather dependent. We don't have that in the UK,
Yes, But you can go. You can find these courts,
and you can just go and play.
You can just go and play, and you can drill every morning.
Yeah,
and
it's amazing. And that's what we did, and that's what we've been doing the last couple of days. We've been going to these courts, and we've been playing, and we're going again today, aren't we?
The trip is not just about the tournament.
No, it's about the social side.
And so, we soon realised that a lot of people left on the Monday.
Yeah.
We were still here. There was a few people still left. There's still a few people left, but it gave us the opportunity to
talk to people that we haven't really talked to properly before.
Yeah.
And do you know what? You see people sometimes and you say hi, but you don't really get to know them.
And you say, "Oh, I don't like that guy."
Well, this has been a real treat for us to get to know our fans.
All two of them.
Yeah. No, it's been a real treat to get to know people, and people have been so friendly. And you wanted to give someone a shout out, didn't you?
Yeah, I do. But before we get on to that,
Yeah.
I just, one thing about the hotel, which we actually thought was quite funny.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great to come to an area like Rota that is not touristy.
Yeah.
That's what, and that's the beauty of it. But the difference is that, as ignorant English people, nobody speaks English here.
Yeah.
But you get by. But we noticed that when we got to the hotel, everything, it's a great hotel, great value, but everything is added on top. So you have to pay for the pickleball. It's not expensive. It's €12 for an hour and a half for a court. It's nothing.
Yeah. You have to pay for your safe.
So we couldn't figure out the safe, because obviously it was very important for me to put my paddle and my hockers in the safe.
You're the only guy I know that puts trainers in a safe.
Do you think I've got trust
So
issues?
is your passport and your wallet all over your bed?
I don't know the maid.
Thank you very much. All right, that's lovely. Thank you.
We're back on the goat now.
Yeah.
I don't know who the maid is. I'd be the same in England. It's not a Spanish thing. I'm very protective over my stuff, and I was worried about.
So you left your paddles out, but
no. My Pro 4 was in the safe. My hockers were in the safe, and my wallet was your
credit cards, all over the bed.
That was all out. Yeah. I didn't care. It was just about.
Do you know what I brought with me this time? My pillow from home.
Did you?
Well, I had that much space in my case.
I'm embarrassed to say.
I thought I might as well throw my pillow in.
I was 18 kilos.
It was the best move I've ever made.
Really?
Yeah. Great having your own pillow.
Really well.
Because, when you're abroad and you're in a hotel, the pillows are never great, are they? So to bring your own pillow is just amazing.
But I had to.
And I brought my duvet.
And your bed.
No, I didn't bring my
I
duvet.
had to keep my paddle safe. I know you were a bit put out, but I went out for dinner with my Pro 4
Yeah, I know.
the
Yeah,
other day, just the two of us.
You went hand in hand on the beach, didn't you?
Yeah, we did a little romantic walk down the beach. It was just amazing. But I just thought it was funny that the hotel charged for the safe €1.60 per day.
Yeah,
It's just funny.
it was.
Like, what's the point?
But the last few days, well, yesterday we ended up going at 4 o'clock to the place where
Well,
the
we never
competition was.
realised.
We didn't realise.
Yesterday was a game changer for us as well.
Yes.
And this is the bonus of coming away. So I'll let you carry on.
Yeah. So we went to the place that we actually played at the tournament, and we didn't know what time it was open.
Well,
so
it was too windy to play here.
it was
wasn't
very windy.
Very
in the
windy
hotel.
by the pool.
So 4:45, we decided to go and have a look to see if we could walk on these courts. People had told us.
Just go.
I thought you were going to let me say.
Carry on. I can't help myself.
I know you can't.
I'm just so excited.
So we went to these courts and it was 4:45, and then Andy actually Googled to see what time it opened. It said 4 o'clock. So we thought, oh, well, hang on then to see. We had no clue, and we didn't expect anyone to turn up and open up. Bang on 4 o'clock, this guy arrives on a moped, opens the door. We walk in and we just say, pickleball? Yes, go in. In we went. There wasn't a soul in there.
The only ones there.
So we went and we did some drilling on the courts, and then we asked.
Well, earlier in the day, we saw Anthony. You're supposed to say his
McElveen.
So Anthony is a coach in the UK. He's one of the top UK players.
Great guy.
And
Great guy.
We'd seen him around, but coming to a place like this, you get to know people. Wonderful guy.
Yeah, really.
Who had already said that we'll practice on the courts. He'll give us his time for nothing, and it was just so we get there. So we mess it because
we played for an hour, and then
the courts don't open here till 5.
No, so he came over at 5 with Kathy, who he plays with. I think he's playing with her in the Open. And they both came over. Another guy called Tim as well that was staying in the hotel, and we did some drills and we played some games, and he gave us loads of tips, because again, we don't have people when we play together. It's hard for us to know where we're going wrong. So it was great for him to watch us and give us more tips on where we need to improve. It was so beneficial.
But that's the community.
And that's
here.
The community,
We were talking to him throughout the day, talking about our frustrations as we do.
Yeah.
Bending everyone's ear about moaning, and he said, "I'll come down. I'll give you some tips." And the second he watched us, he told us where we were going wrong, because I know my dinking needs help, and immediately 1 or 2 pointers, and it changed my game.
Yeah.
And it will change my game.
Yeah.
And to be able to to give up his time to just come and help us, which is exactly what he did. And it's also, we could do it at home, but all the coaches live 3-4 hours away from us. That so that's the other thing.
Yeah, so it was just really nice, and we're going again today, and we'll play some more games and have some rep play. So when we didn't realise what we were going to do for 2 days, it's been amazing.
Yeah,
it's been amazing.
It's nice to relax.
In fact, I don't want to go home, to be honest. I'm not ready to go home.
So the courts are open 4 till 9. So I've told Anthony we're there till 9 tonight.
We'll get a takeaway.
I've already checked. They've got Just Eat here, so and Uber Eats. So just to give Anthony another shout out, look him up on Facebook.
Yeah,
he's one of the best coaches that I've ever seen in action. What's his full name again?
Anthony McElveen.
So look him up on Facebook. He's on Instagram. Book him, because one thing I've realised is there's coaching, there's group coaching, and we've done that. It's about drops and dinks, but this is about if you want to compete at a level at tournaments.
Yeah,
learning strategy, patterns of play, where to be in certain situations, and this is a game changer. So get Anthony, look him up, book him. Whatever he costs, I've no idea what he charges.
You're really bugging him,
but it's worth every penny.
Yeah,
and the fact that he, I couldn't believe.
What's more important with Anthony is he's nice with it.
Yes,
he's a lovely guy.
Yeah,
So the way he, some coaches, their style you might not like, but you can't not like his style because the way he tells you is a real jovial,
He's just got a
calming way. He's
nice
got just got a lovely way, bedside manner.
kitchen-sized manner, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
One
so
thing
great.
that we haven't mentioned that we're going to mention now, at the tournament there was one paddle stall who we know quite well, and I've actually spoke to the lady quite a few times.
We have a very special guest here in Rota. We have Shiana, who is the founder and owner of Zcebra. Now we have amazing paddles here and amazing technology. Can you just tell us a bit about the paddles, what you have, and your latest paddles?
Okay. Our brand was born in 2020, 5 years old, and at the beginning we only made paddles in medium level, because the level in Europe was medium level.
Growing
when
slowly.
we start, yes. Now we have the top paddles technology in Europe. Okay. This model of paddles, Osprey, are the best in Europe and the best.
Very grippy.
Yes.
Is this new?
Because the rough texture in the face.
Yes. More spin.
Yeah, you improve your control in your spin. Yes.
Amazing.
And inside the core are propylene core, but this paddle has foam.
It's
here.
got foam.
Yes.
So is this carbon fiber?
So you get more power. Yeah.
Are these new?
This is the new model.
Okay. And what do these cost?
The cost is 230 euros.
Cheap?
Yes,
Not bad.
I think it's cheap for this product. Yeah.
So you have a market in Europe. What about USA? You're quite big in USA?
Yes, we sell around the world. We sell a lot in Europe, but we sell 2 years ago in the United States. Because if you don't know, we have the best player in the world class 50, Marcelo Jardim.
No, that's me.
Oh yes.
I'm the best player.
Yeah. And he played every year.
I watched him playing a final recently.
Yes, he won in the English Open, didn't he?
And the English
Yes, I
Open
remember.
here yesterday won gold medal.
So he uses this paddle?
Yes.
Yeah.
I want one.
Always.
I want one.
Yes.
Amazing.
So if you want to be the best player in
Yes,
the
we
world,
need one of these.
Maybe this paddle is for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I also noticed you've got grips, socks,
Yes.
all the accessories.
What about this?
Yes, all the accessories, and we have this.
I've
is
never
perfect.
seen this before.
Yeah, and we have paddles in between low level
Low price
to
and high price.
level. And now we have these products. This product is for the sweat in your hands.
Very
okay?
good. You need it here in this heat.
So 5 minutes before you play.
Yeah.
You wash your hands with soap. It's very, very important. And then you put one and one. And in a half an hour during the game, you don't have sweat in your
Amazing.
hands.
Wow.
Okay? Yes.
Can I spray it everywhere?
No, only for hands.
Okay.
Only for hands.
Tell us about this.
This is
Shall I?
yes, this is a gum I have here. This is open, okay, and this
Show us on
gum,
this paddle, yeah.
for example, in this paddle, okay, you clean
Yes.
all the
It's like the fibers.
yes. I don't know if this paddle is, for example, this, okay.
These paddles. Yeah, I can see it comes off. Yeah.
Yes, you clean all the
All the marks.
all the marks.
Very
for example,
good.
this.
Yeah.
This.
Excellent.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very good.
And this works on any paddle.
No.
Only Zcebra.
Yeah.
No, but any type of paddle.
Yes,
fiber.
only the paddles that have
Carbon fiber.
raw carbon fiber.
Yeah,
Okay, in
yeah.
the face, only
Okay.
for these paddles.
Okay,
It's
brilliant.
special for
So do
this.
you
Not
play?
not for this model of paddles. for this phase of the
Right.
paddles
Okay.
in different models or kinds of brands, you know.
And let me ask you, do you play as well?
No,
No?
Why?
no, because all my life, all my professional life, I work every
You
day
work hard.
in pickleball, you know.
Okay, okay.
If in my own life, if I play pickleball, maybe in the future I will hate pickleball, you know.
Yeah, true.
So I need to relax. I need
You need
to
to focus on this.
focus
Yeah.
only my professional.
You might blame the
life.
paddle if you.
Yes. No. And I think it's perfect for us because when I design or when I engineer different kind of models of paddles, always our paddles, our players test this paddle.
amazing.
If I know what is the honeycomb or I know the core or the rest of the materials that this paddle made, I don't test the paddle perfect, you know.
Yes.
So
you have good players testing.
yes, all our high level players test this paddle, and then we organize the rest of the products. Yeah.
Brilliant. Do you do any edgeless paddles? Are they all like any without the?
This model, yes, has this model have edge. But for example, if you want this kind of
yes,
paddle,
Yeah, you've had that one.
Yeah,
Yes.
I had this one.
you have this one.
I did have it. Yeah, I don't have it now, but I
You
did have
liked
this.
it?
I loved it.
Yeah.
It's a great paddle.
Yes,
Yeah, it's really
yes,
good.
because this paddle has a sweet pot, bigger than the other.
Yeah, nice. Okay, well, thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.
thank
And your
you,
English is
thank
very
you.
good.
No,
Yes.
no,
yes.
I'm sorry for my English.
No, it's
I
good.
learned English 2 years ago.
That's amazing.
Yeah, only 2 years ago about APP, you know.
You did very well.
Yeah, you do. You're 4.5 English.
No,
5-0.
I
5-0.
think 3.5.
Thank
you very much.
It was great to have her on. Have to tell you, Spain is zebra crazy.
Yeah, they are. Everyone's got zebra paddles.
Yeah.
This tournament as well, bags.
Yeah.
In fact, with our gold medal, we won a zebra bag.
Yeah.
And that bag is absolutely brilliant. There's so many pockets and places to put
got
things.
deeper
You can never find
It's got
anything.
deeper pockets than you.
You literally can't find a thing in there.
Yeah.
But, you know, when you put your hotel room key in that bag in the morning, you've got no idea where it is later on in the day.
And I have to also say, the free T-shirts given with the tournament entry were phenomenal. The
Yeah.
nicest T-shirts.
Such a nice thing that,
Yeah,
you know, you got
yeah.
a nice T-shirt with it.
Yeah.
Anyway, she gave us the what's it called?
The Osprey.
The Osprey
So the
paddles.
new paddle from Zebra,
Which has foam in it.
So we've got a couple of those to test. It has the it's one of the new generation of foam. So it's a bit. Well, I mean, it's in the realms of the Yola.
It's a Gen 4 paddle, isn't it?
Yeah. So we took those away. We've got those. We'll review them properly at a later date. However, yesterday when we went with Anthony and he gave us some coaching, don't forget to look him up on Facebook and Instagram.
You used the paddle, didn't you?
I thought, you know what, that's a good option. Well, you keep saying to me, I keep talking about the Yola Pro 4 and
Yeah.
you said I want to try it. So I'll let you have that. And I thought I'll take the Osprey with. Now it's a slightly cheaper paddle. It's £50 cheaper, €50 depending on where you are. You can find they sell them into America if you're in America as well. So Zebra's all around the world. So have a look. But this is it's supposed to be very similar. And I'm thinking to myself, there's no way it's going to get near. However, I used it
you loved
yesterday,
it,
and I
didn't you?
have to tell you, you know, with Anthony's tips and the way my game improved yesterday immediately, there was times when I thought I looked down and I forgot
That
I
you weren't
wasn't
using the Pro 4. Yeah.
the Osprey. I was so impressed with it. First impressions are fantastic.
Okay, it's interesting. 'Cause I've not given it a proper go yet.
Feels really gritty.
It'd be also interesting to see how it plays indoor with indoor balls, because obviously we're using outdoor X40s.
And I have had my not doubts, but I've had my reservations of is the Yola Pro 4, and believe me, there was a lot of those on show.
Yeah, there was.
Tournament.
There's a lot of people
But
using them.
I have often wondered about does that work inside with indoor balls, and I'm not sure. It might be my play. that's clouding the judgment on this. I'm not sure. So,
Well, we'll wait and see.
But I have to say, first impressions on the Osprey, it's going to be good.
It looked like
I
it.
could see
it looked like it
I
had
could see
decent spin
pushing,
and
pushing into my rotation.
yeah, it looked like it had decent spin.
I think that might have been the wind.
No, I mean it was quite
Yeah,
gritty surface.
yeah,
I
it's
mean
a
I've not
gritty
played with it
surface.
properly, but it's gritty surface.
Well, maybe you should use it.
It's an
today,
elongated
but I'll
paddle
be
as
using
well.
it today.
So it's an elongated paddle, and it's quite gritty
But
paddle.
it's got a
and it's also
good saying-
16 millimeters
Yeah,
thick
but
as
the
well.
handle is not long either, and I
Yeah,
like that.
it is. It's a standard handle.
Yeah,
It's not
yeah.
like the six. It's not a 6-inch
Yeah.
handle, but it's a standard handle.
So I realised that also, you know, I mean, we've had the luxury of almost 2 days of coaching. We've been lucky enough to be effectively on a coaching holiday.
I think you're going a bit overboard, to be honest.
But I realised that you know, we still have to work on those. You know, there's plenty of times we both did those spinny shots, and you know, we have to. I realised when I was watching the 4.5 that they're so steady, and it's
Doing the simple things right.
yeah,
isn't it? And
yeah.
That's the
and
key.
the lady from Bracknell who won the gold didn't do anything spectacular, and we have to learn that. And I realised, you know, what would be good. I know that in my close semi-final that I lost at 12 all, the ball pops up, and I go for one of these big smashes where I think in my mind I can do topspin, and then it flies out the back, and I'm thinking,
You have to do you.
why didn't I just think it?
Yeah, you have to do you.
And you know, I think it would have been great if at that time my mixed partner would have had like a remote control, and I'm wearing a shot collar.
Yeah, and just buzz you like a.
It would be a game changer.
I think
Every
you should
time
wear one permanently, so I can just keep buzzing you.
That's true, and my
Maybe
wife
I'll
would
stop
like
you
me to have
talking at
that
some
home.
point.
But I, you know, I'm not going to do this. But if anybody out there is an entrepreneur and they want a pickleball shot collar, I
Yeah.
think it's a great idea. You know, every time I do a stupid shot or anybody does a stupid
Also,
shot,
I'd just like to say that I've been here. How long have I been here? 3 days. This is our 4th day. I've not been
No
bitten. I've not
idea.
been bitten once. This morning I've woken up with like 8 bites. I'm just don't understand it. Like, how can I not be bitten and then just be bitten 8 times in one night? So there's something in my room. You're gonna have to come in and spray something.
stop moaning.
All right.
So yeah, you know, it's just to sum up, it's just been.
Well,
so
we've got the big announcement
phenomenal.
as well to make, haven't we?
We have got a big announcement. Forgot about that. I got so carried away.
We actually have a new sponsor for the podcast. We are delighted to announce that the Pickleball people will now be our new sponsor. So watch this space. We're going to have a lot of exciting things to come.
Yeah.
It's a big thing, and we're very, very excited to have them on board. So, as I say, watch this space.
Yeah, we'll tell you more about it.
We'll tell you more about
when
it
we know more.
when we know more about it. But yes, very excited to work with them.
But just as a further wrap up, I just want to say there was a great entrepreneur we met there, Sanjay from a company called.
Sanjay is lovely.
Yeah, from a company. He's based.
Don't say the name; it upsets me.
Well, I've told him the name needs to change, but basically the name is padel.com. Go on the website. He's doing pickleball jewellery. It looks great. The girls were wearing it.
Yeah, there are loads of people wearing it. It's so nice.
It was great. They will be coming out with a bigger range.
And also, they can write. You can inscribe your name, so you can personalise your name on them and stuff.
And
it's really good.
they're all price ranges. There are some expensive ones, but there's some entry-level ones, and they all look fantastic. So shout out to Sanjay. Go on his website, padel.com. That's Padelle. I've told him it needs to be Pickle.
Not
but in the
Padel.
meantime,
Yeah.
it's pickleball based. I think you know, he just wanted to try and capture both markets. But,
Yeah.
But forget that. It's go to the website. The stuff is lovely, and if you're playing with your wife and you want to buy her a nice gift, you know that's
Yeah,
great.
there's some lovely jewellery
And
there.
hopefully he'll be at the English
And
Open.
also, if you don't want pickleball jewellery, he's a jeweller, so he does all sorts of jewellery. He's based in Mayfair, and he's got some beautiful stuff. So go and have a look at that.
Yeah, and this is what happens when you go around and meet these wonderful.
It's
people.
amazing.
And I just want to say, if you've been thinking about an overseas tournament, do it. We're going to do more of them.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. The amount of times I've heard pickleball has changed my life.
And the amount of times
saved my life.
Yeah, I've heard it. In fact, I've heard it this weekend.
Yeah.
And the amount of times I've heard your podcast has saved my life.
Well, I never heard that one.
You know, people have been saved by pickleball. me being one of them, because it's changed my life and Andy's life
Yeah,
as well.
yeah.
So I hope our story inspires you to go and do some more tournaments, you know, go abroad if you can, try these things out, because it's a great experience and the social aspect is just
And
fantastic.
there's tournaments every other week now.
Yeah.
It's great. Do it. I highly recommend it. It took us a long time
Yeah.
to make that step, and I regret that.
So we are sponsored now by the Pickleball people. We will have more details on that up and coming. Thank you for listening, guys. And if you like sherry, you know where to go. Take care.
See ya.